What's it? LMR? I don't know what that is. What is that? Yeah, me too, Ricky. BSB2? Alright. Well, I like his BSB2. Because it's N-Ice on a machinist. A very powerful machinist. Insta-dive with BSB2. It is a projectile weapon, negators. Lulu, LMR, Reno LMR, Squall LMR, Lightning LMR 2. I think that's Reno's LMR 2 as well. No, it's just one. Oh, they removed Renoa. Wow. Man. So just to put on Squall? I don't know. I kind of think that's a downgrade. Anyway, let's go over it. Lulu's Arcane. It's an Arcane. Plus Ice Bracer. God, that's a powerful piece of equipment. Yeah, I agree. Laguna's LMR 1 is pretty awesome. And I'm going to bring up the next place Laguna's LMR 1 shows up. Good night, E-Daddy. And have Merry Christmas yourself. Lulu plus Water Doll. That is just fantastic. That it is something that only you can use, you and Tyro, when you're not really even a water character, even though you've got water in some of the descriptions of your abilities. So, 10 single target, magical ice water attacks, magical resistance plus 30%, magical quick cast, and cast Fury after using ice or water abilities. Fury is 5 single target, magical ice, water, non-elemental attacks. Multiplier scales with ability rank. You know, by itself, as a potential water USB, this is actually not bad. The problem is that it's on Lulu, who isn't really suited to become a water character. You know, I in the previous analysis, I showed you that Squall is his base. Like, a character's base is their legend spheres, their record spheres. How high is that multiplier? I'll go look at it in a second. It's kind of what shows you what the character is going to do with these things that they get. An issue that Lulu runs into. Okay. It looks like she got a buff to BLK damage in her dive. That helps. But the major one is this. Which is her Legend Materia 2. It's a 35% chance to dual cast abilities that deal ice damage. Which would not count for even using Vortex, I believe. The damage dealt must be ice. Not just the ability itself being able to deal ice. So she loses her Legend Materia 2, and she doesn't have really anything to replace that with. Her LMR 1 is is a build-up. Her LMR2 is a Grand Attach Ice at the beginning of battle. And her LM1 is BLK damage, BLK attacks deal 10% more damage. So she's a lesser water character. There's already some pretty decent Omni Mages in the game that can do her job better, that don't have water damage on their soul breaks. So I'm going to say that this is just an ice soul break, and I suppose if you're using Riku's chain, in the Final Fantasy X Torment, since these attacks do water damage, you would gain benefit when you're using Vortex, and from you would dual cast Vortex because you're dealing ice damage, because you have. Oh, she doesn't have an ice, so she may actually just be doing water after all, which would be depressing. Never mind. If you can give her an ice, that would be cool. Oh, she has an ice stacking on her glint and start battle with an ice. Okay, we're in. So what this would allow her to do would benefit from a water chain, even though she's dealing ice damage. But that also requires using the 50% or Riku's Generation 2 chain inside Torment, which isn't going to be good now, but will become better later. Because we're going to gain more RWs to use in Torments than just the Realm Chain. So it would make using your own chains better. This is a very fringe scenario, and maybe it's not really any good at all, but I'm trying here, okay? Anyway, Lulu is a really good ice character, though. And this is pretty good because of the stuff that appears on this banner, even though this doesn't have an ice on it. With her glint and her LMR2, this is a pretty good ice USB. This is the crazy thing, is it's a plus water doll. When is she gonna do water damage? I mean, she's the only one that can use this thing. It's so... I imagine Lulu wouldn't be bad. She has Instant Cast 2 on her USB 1. Alright, anyway, the USB is alright for ice damage, but you need to get the N-Ice stuff in order to make it that. Otherwise, she's not going to be doing all that much. Well, Tyro can, but... I guess. But it wouldn't buff her damage unless she was doing water damage. And all of her, like, things that she has buff her ice damage. So it's... And you only... they don't buff each other. You only do as much damage as whichever one's higher. So if you're doing more ice damage, then you're not gaining any benefit from the water doll. If you're doing water damage somehow, then you're not gaining any benefit from the other things that Lulu has. So it's weird like that. Anyway, let's move on. Reno's USB 2 hybrid, love the hybrid. And lightning and medium machinist boost. And medium black magic boost. That seems really good. There are some characters that don't need these school boosts. The N element's enough, but Machinist, you know, they hit 6 times. Or 4 times. No, 6 times. Lightning doesn't get a super offering. He has a 35% chance to dual cast with his LM2. Reno's a good character. I thought he was really good with his USB 1, but I think his USB 2 is better. It's more modern, because Reno, because he's the only lightning damage character in Final Fantasy VII, is not gonna, you know, synergize well with other people there. But in the Magicites, he's always been pretty good. But this damage boost and the ability to cap break with his Brave command is a whole lot better than the quick cycle on his USB 1. I don't know. I like his USB 2. Prompto Chain is not here. Laguna Chain is instead. Which, in my opinion, is an improvement because it's more immediate. I think a lot of people have either... I don't know. I was going to say people have either dealt with or found other solutions to their lightning problems. Yeah, I want it to. But that Final Fantasy VIII banner, which I'm going to talk about after I finish with this, is good for me. Yeah, Wind Magicite is a hell of a lot harder. And Laguna is better. It was an improvement. I will not doubt that for a second. Alright, so Laguna's Chain is just incredible because Laguna is a ridiculously good character. We have Squall's Arcane, which is cool. Squall with his LMR, Glint, and Arcane is already a really good character. Doesn't need no fancy USBs or BSBs. Just with those things, he's really good. So there's 2 powerful ice things. Lightning USB 2. I personally think it's her best Soul Break. But she's kind of like Squall in that she doesn't need it. Lightning with her Glint, LMR, and Arcane, which is not on this banner. You'd probably want her LMR, her other LMR, for the dual casting. Is already a powerful character because she's pretty damn good celerity. Not so much Spellblade anymore, because that ability kind of blows. Pardon. But anyway, Lightning's a good lightning character. Surprise, surprise. Lulu's Glint. Good. Doubly good because her USB 2 doesn't have an ice on it. And her ASB obviously wants it as well. So that's nice. Renault's Glint was replaced by Squall's. Already talked about that. But it's exactly this. Yeah, it is exactly that. Instant and ice stacking, high quick cast too. Lightning gets instead of having high quick cast 2, she gets N lightning stacking, and 6 single target lightning damage. Which I like both kinds. I prefer the 6 single target damage one. It's better in Torment and Magicite, where the High Quick Cast 2 one is better in Torment, so I like the one that's better in Torment. Even though, like, the High Quick Cast 2 is really good in Torment, so I don't know. Take your pick. They're both really good. So I like all of those glints because personally, everyone knows I'm a big fan of stacking glints. And then apparently we get Laguna's BSB too. Was there even a BSB on this banner before this? There was Prompto's BSB too. Well, I'm happy to announce that Laguna's BSB 2 is much better than Prompto's BSB 2. Because it's N ice, and the commands are actual damage commands instead of these half-assed support commands. Not that you're really looking to use commands, so, I don't know. Don't think too far into this. You're gonna just want to spam cold offering with Laguna, let's be honest. But if you don't have the ability to make cold offering, like a newer player, or anybody in the game right now can't make cold offering. Because it's not in the game. But once it is released, if you're unable to make it, then these are good burst commands, which are rare these days. Second command grants machinist instant cast 2 to the user, good. And the first command is a high damage command, which is rare. Those don't happen much. It's still not that high damage compared to 5-star abilities, but it's fine if you don't want to make that freezing snipe for whatever reason. But mostly, Laguna's BSB is good for the entry, which is nothing special. Grants attach ice. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you want. Well, you want more, but that's all you need. Because that basically gives you a great reason to use the best Ice Machinist in the game, which is a pretty powerful thing against Sildra, who attacks extremely fast. Just base, doesn't even need rage mode. Just attacks extremely fast. Buffs its ice resistance. So without the ability to imperil to counteract that ice resistance, you end up not having a vulnerable boss anymore. Which reduces soul break generation by a lot. By 33%, which is kind of a big deal. So you want to keep that boss imperialized at all times. So while this is kind of a generic burst, it ends up being extremely good just because of the boss that it's positioned against. And I believe, I would say the same applies to the Final Fantasy VIII Torment, because this is, again, an Ice Machinist in a realm that does a lot of ice damage. So giving him a damage boost gives you an even better reason to use an Ice Machinist to help out Squall and Renoa's damage. So again, generic BSB made really good just because of the situation that it's in. Lulu, all four of these are start battle with an element. Lulu's ice, Reno is lightning, Squall is ice, and lightning is lightning. Surprise. They're all pretty good, given what we're seeing on this banner. Squall's glint and arcane, lightning's glint. The stacking glints, and I haven't mentioned it over the course of the festival analysis so far. The way stacking works is it's a separate status. You have an element and an element stacking, and they both work in conjunction. what an element stacking does if you already have an element on you, which is what these 4 LMRs provide, is it takes that into account. It builds upon the N element that it provides. So say you have Lightning's LMR2 here, her little heart hat thing. They give her some weird clothes. And you have that active. It's active for 25 seconds to start the fight. And then you use Lightning's Glint. It takes that N Lightning you started the battle with and rolls it into the N Lightning that the Glint also provides. So as soon as you cast the Glint, now you have N Lightning 2. And then say you cast her USB 2 after that, which also has N Lightning. It takes that into account because you still, for, 25 seconds, or 15, I forget, you have the N Lightning stacking status on, so it says, okay, I'm going to take this 2 and add it to that again. So now you're at N Lightning 3, and that's the cap. And that means all of your lightning damage does even more damage. 120% for both abilities and soul breaks, instead of the base 50%. Going from an element 1 to an element 3. It's really powerful. For things that can benefit from it, if you're already capping with a single N element, like if you have really good chain builders or something, and you've got, you're capping on everything that you do, then okay. Then the stacking isn't that useful. That's why I do have stacking glints on some characters, but I won't use them, because it's kind of a waste if it doesn't actually provide anything to you. But there will be situations in which they do provide something, and you just need to look out for that. It's like, oh, my character's, hitting all their abilities for 7,200 per hit. Well, if I can work in 250 soul break points to add in a glint, then yeah, there's a lot of room to grow there, and it's definitely worth casting it to get more damage out of them. But, what's nice about a lot of the N element start LMRs is if you can work them together with glints, and that's why I'm going to make note of the fact that Reno's doesn't do all that much. So Reno's LMR I would say is not good. I would definitely use his LM1 over it. Especially because he's a machinist, and even on a magical team, you're going to probably be using Spark Offering, which is a really weak and low damage ability, and it doesn't do anything other than imperil. So you don't really care about your damage output. You're not getting anything from having N Lightning to start the battle. You'd rather have the N Lightning... or not the N Lightning, the Lightning increased damage by 10%. Legend Materia 1 instead. Because that affects later on in the battle when, you're actually dealing significant damage with Tempest Snipe. So that LMR kind of stinks, but the rest of the 3 are good. Lulu especially, kind of like a Cecil situation, except Lulu is better than Cecil. Where she would very much like with her USB 2 around to get an ice from other sources, whether that be her Glint, her LMR, 2, or both. Alright. This banner overall, sorry for boring the shit out of everyone with that exclamation. This banner's just not that exciting. Whew. It would require a really special set of circumstances, kind of like Banner 3, to suggest pulls on this banner. Because Lulu with all of her tools together, complete Lulu, is a pretty damn good ice character. But there are other ice mages that just do it better. With less. So it's hard to gotcha for them. Reno, I think, is good. His stuff is good regardless. Oh, let's take a look at that, the Final Fantasy VIII event. So, if you have seen or have tried the Wind Magicite, ETA for the end of January, so in a month from now, I'm expecting us to get this Final Fantasy VIII event. Which has a second banner for the Ages for ice damage. So if you're really in the market for dealing ice damage, and we're kind of searching the ice banner that we just got, the Ice Focus banner that they just launched, or Banner 5 on this festival for ice damage, I would suggest at least trying to take a look at this Banner 2 in this Final Fantasy VIII event, because it has Renoa's Arcane, Squall's Arcane, Laguna's Chain, Renoa's USB 3, or USB 2, and Renoa's Glint, Squall's Glint, Renoa's Dual Cast Black and Start Battle with N-Ice, Squall's Start Battle with N-Ice, and, as was mentioned not too long ago, Laguna's LMR 1, which is a 25% chance of inflicting Imperil Ice when using Machinist abilities. In my opinion, overall, this is the better Ice banner than the other two. But there may be bad parts about this banner. Not only is this a better Ice banner, but it's also a Torment-focused banner as well. With Selfie's USB 2, which is just pretty good because of that status blank, and Quistis' USB, Quistis' Glint. So it kind of fulfills both of those roles, where this banner is ice with not a side of lightning, it's half ice, half lightning. There are situations in which this would be a better ice banner because of, what you have already. This banner's not bad, but it's not powerful enough, I guess. I would really want to have a weak lightning team in order to go for this. Yeah, if you don't want to wait. That's another thing that I can go and take a look at right now. There's this banner. And it is a lot later. It's not just 1 month, it's 3 months from now. There is a very powerful ice banner in 4th anniversary. Which includes Celeste's Generation 2 Ice Chain, Celeste's USB 2, which is an Ice High Runic, and Physical High Quick Cast 1 to front row after using an Ice attack. It's basically Marsh USB, but for Ice. And Laguna's USB 2. And Laguna's Glint, which is a instant 6 single attacks and Ice stacking. But his USB 2 is Machinist Ability Double, which in my opinion is better than his USB 1, because Ability Double means he can cold offering 2 or 3 times per turn. So that covers all of the imperil that you would want to do with his USB 1. And it also allows him to use Freezing Snipe instead to be also a more powerful damage dealer than what you would have with his USB 1. So I do like his USB 2 much better. So there's this banner has that going for it too. And hell, Tidus can be a nice character as well. Remember, he has Awakened Sharpshooter, which means he can use Ice Sharpshooter instead and deal 1,000,000 damage with that. And by 1,000,000, I mean 80,000 damage a turn. Oh no, 160,000, sorry. I'm in that boat, Negators. I'm gonna reassess how I feel when the Final Fantasy VIII event comes around. Whether I want to pull on the Final Fantasy VIII banner or I want to... well, I know I'm going to be pulling on this, and that's kind of the thing that's moving me away from other banners, is that this is getting pulled on, no matter what. Do I also want to pull on the Final Fantasy VIII banner as well, for tournament purposes? This one, it's hard for me to be excited about it because I have Lightning like so hard on lockdown, so it's probably like leading into my bias against the banner. But I really don't, unfortunately, for Solus. I think Lulu is kind of is the frustration trap for Ice Mages. It's a really hard to make her really all that more effective than like an Omni Mage. And it takes a lot to get her there. Where with like Vivi, you got his USB and boop, you're done. Or, you know, Renoa's Glint. Rydia's Glint. So, what's the word? Yeah. Unless you're running Riku's chain. Water chain. Riku gets 2 chains, because that's what Riku does, apparently. But it's tough to make a self-brought chain work in Torments because the summonable RW is as powerful as it is. So there's, by using Lulu and wanting to make use of that water chain, you just kind of shoehorning yourself, I guess. Trying too hard to make it work. Are Realm Chains considered Gen 2? Yes. Yeah. They're just called Realm Chains. But yeah, the things that they do... 150% max Final Fantasy IX Realm Chain and 50% character damage field effect. This 50% damage field effect is what makes it equal to the Generation 2s. But when someone says Realm Chain, there are different properties to it. And that's this. Rather than just being Prompto's Chain. Attack 50%. Irvin and Steiner's provide attack and magic plus 30%. And haste. So they are different. Though the chain effect and the field effect are the same. Potency. Yes. The Realm Chain that you can summon with an RW is a 30% field effect. And also doesn't give haste or attack and magic plus 30% to the party. And when these come out, there will be more RWs added. Like, I think we get a healing RW, which is a lot more useful in Torment. Edward is the only chain with a mind buff on it, yes. I don't think there was any others added, at least. Edward. Yep, it's the only one. All right. Gotta highlight that up. Well, no. Let's wait. Let's do a full assessment on everything. Banner 1. Best banner of the festival. As is usually the case with support stuff, support stuff just tends to carry this game. Makes everything else better. And then there's Cloud, who's Cloud. I don't know if I'm gonna pull on it though. Kind of scared of some of the stuff on here. Already having Onion Knight LMR, Cloud LMR, Cloud Glint, not wanting Tyro's Glint. I guess it's fine. It's niche capability on a character will be really good if I get his USB 4. And I suppose that's it. I mean, I want every single 6-star on here. That has that going for it. Anyway, I'm not doing personal evaluations, but I do think this is the best banner in the festival just because it's the support banner. Earth Banner. Yeah, just because it's the best banner doesn't mean it's a good idea for everybody to pull on it. I liked this banner for people trying to bust into Magicites. Get that ridiculous Quetzal the Pretzel down. And Behemoth King. So you can start your reign of terror on the rest of the 5-star Magicites. This banner's weak. Oh boy. 2 chains, very tempting. But it's a weak banner. Unless, like Andrew said, you have the exact lineup of things that make some of the other stuff on the banner better than it would be otherwise. Celeste USB, Cecil Alamar 2, Alara USB 1. The stars do have to align for this to be a good banner. This is just a good fire banner. And the Ice Magicite are going to be a block to some people. This may be the place to solve that problem. And this banner is just weird, man. It did get a hell of a lot better. I was ready to dump on this banner back when looking at the fact that Prompto was on the Japanese version of the banner. If that was the case, then yeah, I would have dumped on it. I still don't think it's as bad as Banner 3. I really am struggling so hard to come up with something meaningful to say about this banner. It's so friggin' weird. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But I guess what I'd have to say about it is very similar to what I would say to 3, except with the bar rate a little lowered a bit. Is that if you're desperate for lightning stuff and want to shore up your ice for the modern day Magicites, there's something here, but there are 2 very, very good options coming up for Ice with the Final Fantasy VIII and the 4th Anniversary banner. So, watch out. Yeah, that's the thing, is 4th Anniversary makes a lot of this kind of... Oh, and that's something I did say when I did the evaluation for 4, but the Terra and Bart's Awakening banner. Bart's is fire, Terra's fire. Don't be looking here if you can beat the Ice Magicites. Don't have an itchy trigger finger. Terra's can deal 5 elements with her supposedly Fire Awakening. the way Awakenings work is different from stuff like Lulu's Legend Materia 2, where it says ability to deal ice damage. She has a 35% chance to dual cast them. Awakenings are different. If it says Awakening Fire, like Terra's Awakening does, anything that even has fire damage on it, she will dual cast it. She will rank boost it. So her Fire Awakening, if you just want to throw Valley Garmanda on her, all of a sudden, Terra's a lightning character. Because her Valley Garmandas are hitting for 60,000. So she's dual casting it for 120,000. Seems good.